His name was called in the NBA draft, he made the final roster, and then 2 weeks before the season started, they simply cut him. He was one step away from his dream, but that step was taken from him. And then, something incredible happened. The man the NBA rejected moved to the other side of the world and became a star in the Philippines. They called him the Sherman Tank, and one night he scored 74 points in a single game. Why did Washington let him go at the last moment? What awaited him in the Philippines? And why did a man who never played a single minute in the NBA still become a basketball legend? But the most unexpected part of his story came after basketball. Friends, I couldn't find any photos of Francois Wise in public sources. To make sure the video wasn't empty, I added photos of other players to it. I hope you understand. 1980. A young guy from San Francisco sits by the phone, waiting for the call that is supposed to change his life forever. The NBA draft has already begun. The early rounds pass, big names are announced, and he is still waiting. And then finally, the fourth round, the 81st overall pick. The Washington Bullets call his name, Francois Wise. The dream he had chased through hundreds of practices, thousands of shots, and years of persistence finally takes shape. But no one at that moment knows how this story will end. It will not be a classic fairy tale of triumph. It will turn out to be far more human, far more cruel, and yet astonishingly alive. A story about how one step can take everything away, and another step, taken on the other side of the globe, can give life meaning all over again.
Let us tell it all in order, because Francois Wise's path began long before that draft night. He grew up in San Francisco, attended Balboa High School, the same school that would later produce several other high-level basketball players. Already in high school, he stood out for his size and physical power. At nearly 6'8" and over 220 pounds, he moved across the court as if he were built exactly for basketball. By the end of his senior year, he was named the top player in Northern California. This was not just a local success, it was a signal to college scouts that a real talent had emerged. Next came Long Beach State. 4 years, from 1976 to 1980, Wise took the floor in the uniform of the 49ers and improved year after year. 3 straight seasons, he was the team's leading rebounder, first with nearly 9 rebounds per game, then more than 10, then around 10 again. By graduation, he had entered the program's history as its all-time leading rebounder, with nearly 900 total boards, averaging more than 7 per game. In scoring, he ranked among the top 10 scorers in school history. 3 times he was named to the Conference All-Star team, and 3 times to the All-Tournament team. In his final college season, he earned status as an All-American. For a kid from an ordinary San Francisco high school, that was a true breakthrough. But before heading to the draft, Wise faced a test far tougher than any college tournament. In the summer of 1980, he played in San Francisco's Summer Street Leagues, the very playgrounds where it is decided who is truly ready for the professional level and who is not. At the Potrero tournaments, he went up against the best local players, and in the Joe Wickley Basketball League, he played alongside future and current NBA players Reggie Theus, Freeman Williams, Bulls rookie James Wilkes, and Michael Cooper. It was there, in the jostle of elbows and sweaty jerseys, that the character he would need far more than basketball technique was forged. And then, the draft. The 81st pick, 4th round. The Washington Bullets take a chance on him. For most people, that alone is a victory. Making it onto the NBA draft list is something not every college player, even the most talented, achieves. But the real battle was just beginning. The Bullets' training camp was not a mere formality. It was a conveyor belt through which dozens of hopefuls passed, and only a handful remained. Wise fought for every spot, for every minute on the court,
proving to the coaching staff that he deserved an NBA uniform. And he proved it. Out of the enormous number of candidates, he was included in the final roster, 22 players who were to represent the team. Imagine that feeling. You stand literally one step away from your dream. The uniform is ready. Your number is assigned. It seems like this is it. It has happened. And then, 2 weeks before the start of the season, he is called into the office and told he is free. Cut. The roster needs to be trimmed even more, and his spot has gone to someone else. It is hard to put into words what a person feels at that moment. Years of training, thousands of basketballs shot, sleepless nights after college losses, all of it led to one goal, and that goal was so close you could touch it. And then, the door closed, right in front of his face. No appeal, no second chance with that team in that season. Many in Wise's position would have broken. Some would have quit basketball entirely. Others would have gotten stuck in endless attempts to latch on to the lower leagues of their home country, wasting years on the faint hope of returning to the NBA. But fate had a completely different road in store for Francois Wise on the other side of the world.
In the early 1980s, an unexpected destination appeared on the basketball map: the Philippines. Its professional league, the PBA, was by then already actively inviting foreign players, mostly former American college students, to strengthen local clubs. And into Wise's life came a man named Glenn McDonald, a former Boston Celtics forward who not long before had won a league title himself as a player for the UTEX Wranglers, and was now the head coach of that same team. McDonald remembered Wise from his Long Beach State days and decided he was exactly the import his team needed. The decision to move to the Philippines was not as simple as it might seem. Wise's wife was pregnant at the time. He knew nothing about the country, not the climate, not the culture, not what awaited him there. As he recalled decades later, there was no preparation at all, just a decision and a one-way ticket. The first thing that met him on Philippine soil was the suffocating heat and humidity, completely alien to a Californian. But something else struck him far more deeply. Even at a regular practice game, the stands were packed to capacity, just to watch a visiting team warm up. That was the first hint of just how seriously basketball was taken here, in a country that seemed, on the surface, to be in the shadow of American basketball greatness. Adaptation was not easy. The language barrier, the difference in playing style, the physical pressure from local defenders, all of it took time. Wise later recalled one opponent, a big player named Ed Duckett, who deliberately tried to unsettle visiting stars with rough, sometimes outright dirty play under the basket. But Wise held his ground. More than that, he did not just hold his ground, he flourished. The next 5 seasons, from 1981 through 1987, became a period of personal triumph, the very kind that never happened in Washington.
Wise played for 4 different league clubs, starting with the UTEX Wranglers, then moving to the Detroit Spirits, later wearing the uniform of the Tandway Rum Makers, playing for the Manila Beer Brewmasters, and finishing his career with the Hills Brothers Coffee Kings. It was in a Tandway uniform that he set his career-high 74 points in a single game, a number that speaks for itself more eloquently than any words. And with Manila Beer, he led the team to the finals of one of the league's conference tournaments in 1985, though the club lost the deciding series to the Northern Cement team. Local commentators loved his particular style of play: powerful, nearly unstoppable movement under the basket, combined with deft fakes and spins that seemed out of place for his imposing frame. The famous Filipino sportscaster Joe Cantata gave him a nickname that stuck for years: the Sherman Tank, after the heavy American tank from World War II. There were even rumors that his physical attributes drew interest from scouts in professional American football, the Los Angeles Rams. So impressive was the impression he made on the court. The paradox of this story is that the man who was cut from the NBA 2 weeks before the season opener became a true star on the other side of the globe. Not a secondary import player, but the face of entire franchises, a player who packed the stands. 5 seasons, 4 clubs, status as one of the most memorable foreign players of the entire 1980s era of Philippine professional basketball. But behind that success lay another, less visible side of life: distance. Distance from home, from family, from his native culture. A wife who gave birth to their child while her husband played on another continent. Long flights, foreign languages, foreign customs, and all of it just to keep doing what he loved, since it had not worked out where it was supposed to work out first. At the same time, basketball in Francois Wise's life is not just his personal story. It is also a family line that stretches across generations. His uncle, Willie Wise, was a star of the American Basketball Association in the early 1970s, the same league that later partially merged with the NBA. Willie Wise played for the Utah Stars and was known above all for his incredible defense. It was he who, in the NCAA Finals, managed to contain under the basket the future legend of professional basketball, then known as Lou Alcindor, who the world now knows as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was Willie Wise who was once tasked with guarding Rick Barry, one of the league's biggest stars at the time, and did so well that experts later acknowledged few could shut down Barry like that on defense. Yet Willie Wise himself spent his entire career in the shadow of more celebrated scorers, because forwards get headlines, not defenders who do the heavy, dirty work.
Years later, the basketball baton in the Wise family did not break. Francois's son, Eric Wise, also chose basketball as his path. He played for the University of California, Irvine as a forward, known for his physical play under the basket, an almost mirror image of his father's style a decade earlier. University media directly called him a continuation of the family legacy, mentioning both his father, the Long Beach State and Philippine League star, and his great-uncle, the ABA legend. What emerges is a remarkable picture. 3 generations of one family, 3 different basketball fates, 3 different leagues, and 3 different eras. And at the center of it stands a man whom the official NBA statistics barely noticed. No matter how his later career unfolded, the final records of the National Basketball Association show not a single minute played by him. He was on the Washington Bullets roster, he practiced alongside NBA players, but the league itself never saw him in a regular season game. And perhaps that is the real drama of this story, not tragedy in the usual sense, not a ruined life or lost years, but that fine, almost invisible distance between almost made it and made it. Between the final roster of 22 players and the final opening day roster. Between the dream nurtured since childhood and the reality that decided otherwise. After his playing career ended in the late 1980s, Francois Wise chose a path that at first glance seems completely opposite to the glamorous life of a professional athlete. He joined the Los Angeles Police Department. Years of patrolling the streets of one of the most high-pressure cities in the country, responsible and sometimes genuinely dangerous work, and all of it after crowds on the other side of the world had chanted his name. Today, Francois Wise has retired from that service as well, leaving behind both his basketball and police careers. More than 30 years after his last game in the Philippine League, he easily recalls the smallest details of those seasons, the names of opponents, the scores of specific games, the atmosphere of packed arenas. For him, it is still a living, vivid part of life, not a forgotten chapter of the past. The story of Francois Wise is a reminder that the road to success is rarely a straight line. Sometimes the door you have knocked on your whole life closes at the very last moment. And then the only way forward is to look for another door, even if it is on the other side of the world, in a country you had never even thought about before. Sometimes that very turn leads to real greatness, just in a different form, under a different flag,
in front of different crowds who, in the end, applaud just as loudly. If you enjoy stories like this, real careers of players from that era who are rarely remembered today, be sure to check out other videos on our channel. Links will appear on screen right now.